467-7608.
This is Scot, Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scot, Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
Hey, great friends. It's Kaplan and Crew from the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com, along with Grande and the Brown Man. We want to jump right in on this Brandon Staley press conference yesterday. And then a little bit later on in the show, Eric Williams is going to join us, and we'll talk to Eric about all things NFL. But Eric Williams from FoxSports.com will be here, and we'll get into the divisional games. But fellas, Alex, I know you spent a lot of time on this Brandon Staley press conference. How many sound bites should we take a listen to today?
Let's see. I have 4.
Mm-hmm.
I have 4 sound bites. They get funnier as we go.
Okay.
So the first, I'll guide you through this segment. How about that, Scott?
Right.
Did you guys watch this? I watched all 40 minutes, unfortunately.
Yeah, I only watched a little bit of it.
And yes, I said 40 minutes.
Yeah, and I've seen clips.
Yeah.
But I didn't get a chance to sit down and watch all 40 minutes. But if you
these.
say it's this kind of entertainment, perhaps I will later.
I think I have this. No, it's not really. The ones I cut out is all you need.
Okay.
Okay, so Staley was asked, hey, your relationship with the ownership, you're never concerned about, your job or whatever.
Well, I meet with our ownership daily and weekly, and then certainly after the season. Last year I only have 1 year to compare to, but you have an end of the season review and kind of a reflection, debrief, and assessment, and then then you're kind of charting the course for your next moves in the days and weeks to come. So it's the meetings that we always have, and when I talk about alignment, there's no better alignment that I have than with the Spanos family, with Dean, John, and AG. That's where it all starts, and myself and Tom, Ed McGuire, our coaching staff. I think that's the strength of our team, is the alignment within our team. And, I'm excited to get, our off-season process started.
I love how at the beginning he starts with, I meet with ownership daily and I meet with them weekly. So if you meet with them every day, do you really need to meet with them once a week as well? I mean, do you meet 8 times? I mean, like if I would have been there, I'd be like, excuse me. So when you say you meet daily and weekly, how many meetings would you say you have in an average week with the Spanos family? Is it 8 meetings because you have 1 a day because it's daily, and you have 1 weekly, so there's 8 total? Or do you meet differently with you meet twice a week with this guy, twice a week with that? I mean, explain that to me, would you? Like I would just be there just like a total ass, just nitpicking every word.
It's funny though, can you imagine like the head coach having to meet with the owner, son 1, son 2, the GM? What does Ed McGuire do again?
He's the capologist.
Capologist. Like you're just meeting with, like, I don't know. Is that
standard
protocol? Does Pete Carroll meet with the Allen people, or is that how it works? Does Kyle Shanahan meet with the Yorks every week? Is that how that works?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Does Kevin O'Connell meet with Ziggy Wilf? Like literally, Hey Zig,
Right.
Yo man, I'll be up in a minute. Yeah, you got it.
Right.
For what are they talking about? If you mean that much, what y'all talking about?
But he just
TV shows?
talks. No, but like Brandon Staley just talks.
Mm-hmm.
I give him his credit. He's good at not saying a lot,
Yeah.
but just talking so that people will kind of like, I don't know, be transfixed or fall asleep.
Yeah.
He's
So-
just good like that.
The Chargers fired their offensive coordinator. The Chargers fired their quarterbacks coach. The Chargers fired the linebackers coach.
Mm-hmm.
So they asked him, hey, Brandon, you have this offensive coordinator position available. You have Justin Herbert. You really got to nail it. What exactly are you looking for in your new offensive coordinator? And
Yeah, I mean, I think we have one of the top jobs in the league, and so we're going to be thorough with our process. There's not a rush to do anything because we want to make sure that you hire the best coach. And 3 years ago there was a outside linebacker coach that only had 3 years of NFL experience that became a defensive coordinator. And I was that guy that no one knew about. And what you got to do is you got to go through a process to discover, people like that. And so, like I said, good coaches come in all shapes and sizes, all levels of experience. And what we're going to try and do is find the type of coaching staff that fits me, our players, and our organization.
That dude just said, we need to find the best coach out there, and we need to find me. We need to find me.
We got to find the next me.
Yeah, the next me.
Listen. He may be coaching high school football right now at St. John Bosco. Okay. He might be coaching football right around the corner here at Mater Dei.
Liberty University, where I was at.
We don't know. We're not sure. But we know this. We're looking for the new offensive version of me. Because you know what? I'm freaking awesome.
You know what he also said? I didn't clip it, but he said the offense needs to match my defense. And I was like, oh, so you literally just fired the guy that matched. You guys were ranked 14th, 15th together. You guys were mediocre together. Like, does this dude think his defense was that good? Like, does this dude really think that his defense was so innovative and so astounding that he didn't just give up 27-point lead? Like,
straight.
Am I living on the same
point?
Like, does he really think the Chargers defense was so excellent? Khalil Mack had one of his worst years of his life.
Fitty Deuce.
Correct.
Fitty Deuce.
Am I tripping? Like, J.C. Jackson, who was an all-pro in New England, ended up in jail.
Yeah, you tripping. You tripping, dog. Brandon Staley's got a weird. And I wonder if he's really liked it. He's got a weird what?
Confidence.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, he's got a weird ego. And I wonder if he ever studies film on his press conferences and thinks to himself, gosh, I sound like a crazed egomaniac in some weird way. Like, you don't hear Bill Belichick talking even like that, and he got the Super Bowls. You don't hear Mike Tomlin going, yeah, we got to find the best coach. Cause 20 years ago, there was a guy that nobody knew, and that was me. And now I'm looking for the new me.
He literally said, I'm looking for the new me.
Jeez,
and he also has a safety blanket now too, which is cute. Every coach is kind of know, Jim Harbaugh's got his khakis. Bill Belichick's got his like piss poor attitude. Pete Carroll's got his gum. Brandon Staley's got his coffee cup.
That damn coffee cup.
All right, let's chug along here. He drinks coffee during these press conferences.
And it's like literally
every question.
Question, he's like,
yeah, he's got the takeaway cup, and he's got the little sleeve on it so that his hands don't get burned. He's very cute. Very cute.
Right. They can't get the guy a Staley cup. I mean, they're what's in right now. They're what's in right now.
Yeah, hold a mug.
Like, it's a market. It's LA. Staley with the Staley. Come on.
The paper. He's in with a paper cup.
They can't even afford that. Anyways, they were asked by, I believe, Bill Plaschke starts, pegging the questions. Staley, you were up. Brandon, whatever. You were coach, whatever they call him. You were up 27-0. And you lost that game. Were you out-coached? Straight up asked.
You were out-coached by Peterson, and how much did that lead to the loss?
Oh, Bill, I thought it was a tight game. I thought that for a half, I wouldn't say that was the case for a half. I think at the end of the game, that team that we were playing showed a lot of fight, a lot of resilience. I thought it was a high-quality game against two teams that are both young and hungry. And so I thought it was just a high-level game all the way around. And so I think Doug's an outstanding coach, and I know that we were coaching at a high level, and hopefully we're going to get another chance at those guys.
I first of all, I could listen to that over and over again. You wouldn't have said that for a half. No, like for the first half,
right?
You weren't out coaching them. Every tip kind of just went your way. Every little break went your way. So I'm not saying you were the better coach in the first half. I'm asking you if in crunch time on 4th and 1, when you got to get a stop and they pick up 25 yards with an end around that you had no idea was coming, did he outcoach you? And then to get into this whole thing, it was a high level game. We're coaching at a high level. I'd be like, excuse me, how do you qualify coaching at a high level when you're giving up a 27-0 lead in the postseason? Like, is there a data point that we should know? But I just think it was a high quality game. I think he's a high quality coach. I know we coach at a very high level, and you wouldn't say that in the first half. He is so weird. God, he's great. I love
Brandon
Staley
Staley
now.
is Paul Walker in the original Fast
Worse.
and the Furious. I almost had you, man. I almost
Almost
had
had you,
you.
bro.
I almost had you. I was winning in that first half of that race, dude.
Bro,
Oh, man.
I am
This guy.
I am loving Brandon Staley. I really am.
And
we're
this
gonna
guy's
get a
supposed to be smart. He's supposed to be smart, by the way.
Why?
These
What's
are
supposed to
really
be so
dumb
smart?
answers.
No,
These
he's
are
a
dumb
He's a
answers.
defensive genius, Scott.
Oh,
These are
that
defensive
makes him
answers.
smart,
That's why he wants his
Another him.
version of himself on offense.
Mhm.
dude. Hey, I just hope we get. I'm looking forward to getting another shot at those guys.
Yeah.
What
Like,
you got a rivalry going now with
Yeah.
Jacksonville? Hey
Yeah.
guys, listen. Our goal this year, we're going back to the postseason. We're going back to Jacksonville because we're going to have a wild card spot, and we are going to kick their ass. Super Bowl, coach, is that our goal? No. Our goal is not the AFC West. Our goal is not the Super Bowl. I want to see those guys
Beat
again.
Jacksonville.
I'm
Damn.
gonna see them guys
Beat
again. They
Jacksonville.
beat our ass in week 3. They beat our ass in the second half, not the full game. The second half of that playoff game.
May have been outcoached a little, maybe.
I think the third
not the
third
first half.
time's the charm. Third time's the
Yeah.
charm.
It's like when the Bears coach gets the job, it's like, what's your number one thing? Well, we want to beat the Packers. It's pretty much what he just said.
Right.
Man, we want to beat those guys. We gotta
Right. In
get
fact, I'm
another
going to put
shot at
signs up all over the city, all over the
Beat
facility.
Jacksonville.
Beat Jacks. Beat Jacks.
Beat
Beat the
Jags.
Jags.
Like
It's
it's
gonna be-
like
hey.
he's Harbaugh at Michigan. We got to beat Ohio State. You know, like
Right.
that's the goal.
Guys, everybody bring it up. Everybody bring it up. Let's go. Let's break it down on 3. Beat the Jags on 3. 1, 2, 3. Beat the Jags.
Yeah.
It's like, what? All right.
What
We
a
got 2 more.
moron.
We got 2 more
I got
Brandon
one more.
Staley
I
sound
got
bites.
one
Oh,
more.
one more. But okay, before we get to it,
Yes.
just a quick heads up for everybody. Our friends at Penske San Diego, PenskeSanDiego.com. I want to say this. There's a lot of advertising out there right now for car dealers. And the reason for that is because a year ago, car dealers like, got no cars. A year later, car dealers like, we got lots of cars, but interest rates rose. And people all of a sudden aren't buying cars as much. We thought we had a real lack of supply. We did. We had a lot of demand. Now we got a big supply and we don't have as much demand. So now these dealers, they are competing. And Penske San Diego has 12 dealers representing 9 different brands. And all you have to do to make it faster and easier is go to their website, PenskeSanDiego.com. Now, look, people have, it's become like a normal thing to buy a car online. You got all these used car companies and, you can make the transaction, they deliver. It's pretty commonplace now. People aren't going to lots the way they used to and walking around and go, oh, I'm just kind of taking a look. Do what Alex did. Go to PenskeSanDiego.com. Tell them which cars you're interested. By the time Alex got from North Park to Acura of Escondido, one of the 12 dealerships, the cars were sitting there waiting so he could test drive them, decide, make a deal, and go home. PenskeSanDiego.com. That's where you buy your new car. That's where you lease your new car. It's where you buy your certified pre-owned. It's where you find all your information. Make it fast and easy. PenskeSanDiego.com. All right, Alex, get us back to it. Let's hear more of the very entertaining Brandon Staley.
So basically, social media and most Charger fans were ready to fire Brandon Staley. Was Brandon Staley ever concerned about his job security? The question included from Bill Plaschke.
I just want to clarify, so you never thought your job was in danger?
No, Bill. No. I have a lot of confidence, Bill, in how we do things here and what we've been able to accomplish. And that's the truth. And everybody that's been around me on a day-to-day basis knows that. And I am aware of the speculation, because I have to be briefed of it, to be prepared for guys like you. And I do have a family, so I understand that. That cares about me, but I was not worried about that because I know what goes on here on a day-to-day basis, and I know what we have in our locker room. I know what's out on that field, and I'm excited to keep going.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
He's good. I mean, here's how I know how good Brandon Staley is at a press conference. Because I want to wring his neck. I want to like grab a hold of him because I just can't stand the fact that he's just talking in circles and he's not really answering the question. It doesn't mean that the answer is, yeah, I thought I was getting fired. But this whole like cutesy little,
Point my coffee cup as I directly
right. And
to you.
I gotta be careful of guys like you, man. You're good.
Hey.
I gotta be briefed. I got
a family.
Like a president of the United States. I gotta be briefed. I mean, listen, I got family that cares about me. There are people that care about me. You don't, but they do.
Mhm.
And you clearly don't care about me. You want me fired.
You know what, dude? I think that Brandon Staley being your head
Clearly,
coach
you'll be
probably makes
fired.
you a better person. I think that could be 100% true. All the stories about Brandon Staley, how he overcame cancer and a bunch of his families overcame cancer, like that.
I didn't
He
know that.
probably can make you a better person.
Mhm.
I'm not denying that. Like he's proud of that. When you come to his program, you're going to be a better person. And that doesn't mean you're going to be a better football player. That doesn't mean you're going to translate that into success on the football field. And I think, unfortunately for Brandon Staley, 99% of Charger fans or NFL fans, that's what they care about, i.e. Deshaun Watson. Like that is all people care about. Are you playing well? Are you winning? That is all people care about. And I think that Brandon Staley, from his comments, from what he's always talking about, what he believes he sees on the field, what he believes he sees in his locker room, I think he cares about making these guys better people. And that's great. But those better people lost a 27-0 lead.
That ain't his job. His job, if you want to make people better people, go coach college.
Doesn't it sound like he's coaching college?
Yeah, I mean, it's his
like
program.
That's literally how he talks.
Yeah.
Program, tournament. Get
They
another
hired
shot
the
at
wrong.
them.
This guy's the wrong hire, and the longer this goes, the more he'll be exposed. He should wake up every morning and thank the Lord that Justin Herbert is his quarterback.
Everybody knows that by now.
Because this is embarrassing. This is utterly embarrassing.
Why?
This idea about his family life and what they survive, they don't got nothing to do with football, man. They got nothing to do with whether you win or lose football games. It just don't. It just don't, man. And if that's the reason why he's keeping his job because he's cool with the people in the front office, this just come on, man. It's results. The NFL is the most results-based business we have going. And the results at the end of the day, 2 years in a row, is that he is incapable of handling crisis situations in the position. Period. So
Well, I mean, listen, what Plaschke, you hear Plaschke ask these questions, and I know we talked about it in the first segment. Plaschke says today, hey, you're not in San Diego anymore. And I know that sounds insulting to people in San Diego, but here's what I think Plaschke is trying to get at. What Plaschke is saying today and look, I'm surprised, Brandon Staley knows who Plaschke is, although they briefed me. They briefed me in the back. It's not, hey, I'm not watching around the horn, Plaschke. Okay. I'm not reading your column in the paper, Plaschke, but they briefed me in the back because I got to watch out for guys like you. You're tough. All right. You're going to try and outsmart me. I got it. But what Plaschke then writes today, because he never shows up at these press conferences, what he writes today is the Chargers don't seem to understand they're not in San Diego anymore. And what he means, I think, is, hey, bro, in a city that has the Lakers and the Dodgers and now has a, playoff bound caliber football program in USC and has the Super Bowl champions from a year ago, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you're planning on competing in this marketplace, pal, you got to do what the Rams did, which is find a rock star. This kid right here, Plaschke says it today in the paper. This kid right here, two years, 35 games, 36 games, 37 games, whatever the numbers are, 37, I think. You've got to, what you have at 37 games in an NFL head coach. And the reason these guys won't fire him is because they're too damn cheap to do it. And they need to go get a rock star because they got cool uniforms and they've made a little bit of impact in the market. And now's the time. But you guys are running this program. You're running this organization like you're still down in San Diego where everybody kisses your ass no matter what because you're the only game in town. I mean, I think Plaschke is bitch slapping the Spanoses all over the place.
But when he says that remark, it's not like if Brandon Staley would have done those things here, the people in the media here would have been all over him as well. Not to the degree that they are in Los Angeles because they're just more general. They're just more reporters there just in general. But like you said, like the woman texts you, there's way more reporters here than I've ever seen. So clearly it would have been about the same amount of people on a week-to-week basis. So, I mean, I'm just over Plaschke, so I think that's more my problem with it. I'm not a Plaschke guy at this point.
I'm not a Plaschke guy either. But
let's not forget, him playing his starters in Week 18 is why they didn't have their biggest threat on offense.
Correct.
And their offense looked stagnant against the Jaguars in the second half because they had nothing. They had no one. They had no one.
And when they asked him yesterday about playing Mike Williams, I do the same thing all over again. In this program, we go for wins. We want to play high-quality football. I'm going to do some coaching at a high level. I do the same exact thing. All my players are the same.
7 passes completed by Justin Herbert were at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage. 4 passes past 10 yards. You tell me you didn't miss Mike Williams on that game?
Hey, look, I do the same thing, man. I do the same thing because all my players are equal. I care about all my players. They're mine. They're mine. I own these guys. They're mine. My players.
So the outcome didn't change you, huh, Coach?
Nah, it's all about me. He's weird. He is a weird dude. For 40 years old, for being a 2-year NFL head coach, and for being a guy who's really only been in the NFL for like 4 or 5 years and only been in coaching a really short period of time, he's weird. Like weirdly egotistical is what I'm getting at. All right, stick around. Eric Williams will be by in a little while.
Oh, I can't wait till he finds himself.
Dude. Eric Williams will be coming up in a little bit from foxsports.com. We're going to talk about the divisional round of everything else that's going on. But also, I want to get to this. A very bizarre news story happened in San Diego this morning. I wouldn't have known about it had I not seen it on Twitter, but I want to get to it next. We're in the 7 Mile Casino Studios here on Kaplan and Crew.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Dominating the SoCal radio airwaves for over 20 years. Join Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner for Kaplan and Crew every Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. only on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk, and the mightier1090.com.
At Shelter to Soldier, being a private nonprofit, we rely on the community. Thankfully, we have sponsors like the Barnes firm that get behind us.
We understand the difficulties that many of our veterans face when they come back into civilian life. And this program just seemed like the perfect fit.
Today we're catching up with Barney. He is now in our matching phase of our program. He is meeting eligible veterans in what we call speed dating.
How's it going?
So we have just recently approved 5 new veterans for our program. So Barney will be meeting every single one of them to see if he is the perfect match for them.
Barney's perfect date would be a nice long walk on the beach, and then he would like to end the night with a nice dinner with his veteran.
We got to find the right person for the right dog.
When someone you know has COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, things can progress very quickly, making them feel hopeless. But it doesn't have to be like this.
See, Mom, this place is going to be great for you. They're going to help you breathe better.
Pulmonary rehabilitation at La Mesa Rehab focuses on patient education and training. We use special therapies to improve your lungs, clear out mucus, and keep you out of the hospital. Pulmonary rehab is Medicare approved. Call now to see if you qualify or ask your doctor about La Mesa Rehab today.
Since 1975, San Diegans have trusted the Murray-Lampert family for their home remodeling projects. We continue our commitment to deliver high-quality home remodeling and construction to our customers without an expensive showroom.
When you're adding companion units or ADUs to bring value to your home, our team has the experience to handle everything. Plus, our strong relationships with the city makes adding on easier for homeowners.
Visit murraylampert.com for your consultation.
Surf Soccer has been around for over 30 years. We're based here in San Diego, but we are the premier national youth sports brand in soccer. Our mission is to create experiences and opportunities for kids, and we do that here mostly in San Diego with our 1,000 kids, but we also do it through our events where we really help kids chase their dreams.
PNC Bank's sponsorship helps the kids here. One, it is to continue to help fund facilities like this where the kids can come play soccer. 2, it is really through our scholarship program. There are a lot of kids in San Diego that have incredible levels of talent, but they can't afford to play on a team like Surf. And so a lot of our sponsorship dollars go back into scholarships to give an opportunity for kids who are low to moderate income to play on one of the elite teams in the U.S.
Having a partner like PNC who is community oriented and cares about the development of youth in the community is amazing because our missions are completely aligned and we're both driven by helping develop kids, and in this case through sport in San Diego.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Listen to the Mike Greenberg Show, 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday. Greeny brings his unmatched depth of sports knowledge, fun, and entertainment back to ESPN on a daily basis. The mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk, and the mightier1090.com. We'll be right back with more of Scot Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scot Kaplan and Crew Show on the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
People often ask, when should I call a lawyer after a car crash? If you're injured, then you should call 911 and seek medical attention right away. Then, assuming the crash wasn't your fault, you should call a lawyer as soon as it's safe to do so. There are several reasons why. First, it ensures that your legal rights are being protected while you focus on your health. Second, getting an investigation started immediately can be vitally important, since the physical evidence at the crash scene, surveillance video, or witnesses may not be around for long. Third, unfortunately, insurance companies may not have your best interests in mind and may try to take advantage of the situation knowing that you are not yet represented. They may try to take recorded statements or make lowball offers. Put it this way, calling a lawyer is free. The cost of not doing so could be quite expensive.
At Shelter to Soldier, being a private nonprofit, we rely on the community. Thankfully, we have sponsors like the Barnes firm that get behind us.
We understand the difficulties that many of our veterans face when they come back into civilian life. And this program just seemed like the perfect fit.
Today we're catching up with Barney. He is now in our matching phase of our program. He is meeting eligible veterans in what we call speed dating.
How's it going?
So we have just recently approved 5 new veterans for our program. So Barney will be meeting every single one of them to see if he is the perfect match for them.
Barney's perfect date would be a nice long walk on the beach, and then he would like to end the night with a nice dinner with his veteran.
We got to find the right person for the right dog.
Most people never expect to get into a crash or trip over a hazard and fall, and they certainly don't expect that it could lead to life-altering injuries. Most of us assume it's just an ache. It'll go away. I'll be fine. And luckily, usually they are right. But unfortunately, some injuries aren't obvious, and the adrenaline of the incident may mask the seriousness of your condition. Plus, when the injury is due to someone else's negligence, then you will have to prove that your injuries are from that incident and not something else. So not only is it important for your health to get checked out to rule out that anything is serious or even potentially life-threatening, it's also important to document your injuries as closely to the event as possible in a medical record. Otherwise, the insurance company will try to use that gap in treatment as proof that your injury is not related to the incident.
Surf soccer has been around for over 30 years. We're based here in San Diego, but we are the premier national youth sports brand in soccer. Our mission is to create experiences and opportunities for kids, and we do that here mostly in San Diego with our 1,000 kids, but we also do it through our events where we really help kids chase their dreams.
PNC Bank's sponsorship helps the kids here. One, it is to continue to help fund facilities like this where the kids can come play soccer. Two, it is really through our scholarship program. There are a lot of kids in San Diego that have incredible levels of talent, but they can't afford to play on a team like Surf. And so a lot of our sponsorship dollars go back into scholarships to give an opportunity for kids who are low to moderate income to play on one of the elite teams in the U.S.
Having a partner like PNC who is community oriented and cares about the development of youth in the community is amazing, because our missions are completely aligned and we're both driven by helping develop kids, and in this case through sport in San Diego.
This is the #1 advice I give to my friends and family. Get the most UM, uninsured motorist, UIM, underinsured motorist coverage that you can. Here's what happens all the time. After a car crash, you have a ton of medical bills, you're out of work, and don't know what the long-term effects of what your injuries will be. Then you find out that the driver who caused the car crash only has $15,000 in insurance. And you say, good thing I'm fully insured. You have good liability, collision, med pay, but only $15,000 in UM/UIM. In that scenario, you and your family are not covered by your insurance at all, and you will be limited to only $15,000 in defendants available coverage. The premiums for UM and UIM are not expensive, so do yourself a favor, check what your UM/UIM policy amounts are, and make sure at a minimum they're the same as your liability coverage.
What do you want, Anthony?
I'm in town for a big presentation that's due after the end of the year. My computer got damaged.
What about the backup?
It was in our luggage and it got lost.
On New Year's? I thought you needed me, but apparently you're doing fine, so I...
Would crying have been any better?
Always the charmer.
Jess, I'm sorry about what happened.
It's midnight. Happy New Year's, my friends.
Yeah, super romantic.
If you love animals, Animal Zone is for you. From rescues to animal experts, Animal Zone is fun for the whole family. Watch Animal Zone right here on YourView, Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. and visit animalzone.org to learn more about the show.
Drivers are getting in accidents at a rate we've never seen before, jumping 18% since 2020. There are higher incidents of speeding and more aggressive driving since the pandemic began. Please slow down and drive safely. It can save a life.
At Shelter to Soldier being a private nonprofit, we rely on the community. Thankfully, we have sponsors like the Barnes firm that get behind us.
We understand the difficulties that many of our veterans face when they come back into civilian life. And this program just seemed like the perfect fit.
Today we're catching up with Barney. He is now in our matching phase of our program. He is meeting eligible veterans in what we call speed dating.
How's it going?
So we have just recently approved 5 new veterans for our program. So Barney will be meeting every single one of them to see if he is the perfect match for them.
Barney's perfect date would be a nice long walk on the beach, and then he would like to end the night with a nice dinner with his veteran.
We got to find the right person for the right dog.
From fitness to medical technology, explore how people are leading healthier lives on Your Health. Join Erica Cardenas as she introduces you to health experts and discover how our daily choices affect our well-being. Plus, learn simple tips for healthier living. Your Health, Sunday at 4:30 p.m. on YourView and YourView.com. Brought to you by La Mesa Rehab, improving the lives of those with all types of lung disease and long COVID symptoms.
Surf soccer has been around for over 30 years. We're based here in San Diego, but we are the premier national youth sports brand in soccer. Our mission is to create experiences and opportunities for kids, and we do that here mostly in San Diego with our 1,000 kids, but we also do it through our events where we really help kids chase their dreams.
PNC Bank's sponsorship helps the kids here. One, it is to continue to help fund facilities like this where the kids can come play soccer. Two, it is really through our scholarship program. There are a lot of kids in San Diego that have incredible levels of talent, but they can't afford to play on a team like surf. And so a lot of our sponsorship dollars go back into scholarships to give an opportunity for kids who are low to moderate income to play on one of the elite teams in the U.S.
Having a partner like PNC who is community oriented and cares about the development of youth in the community is amazing because our missions are completely aligned and we're both driven by helping develop kids, and in this case through sport in San Diego.
At the Barnes firm, we're seeing more pedestrian and bicycle accidents. Drivers are rolling through red lights, and distracted driving makes every intersection a danger zone for pedestrians. Look both ways when crossing, even if you have the right of way.
Welcome back. This is Scot Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scot Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scot Kaplan, John Browner, and Alex Padilla.
All right, everybody. It's Kaplan and Crew from the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com. As promised, he's everybody's favorite. He's back this week. Eric Williams from Fox Sports, who covers the NFL for Fox Sports. He was up in San Fran last week. He'll be back up there this week for the Niners and the Cowboys. I must say, we got to get to all these divisional games because I know the three of us will just keep firing stuff at Eric. So here's Eric Williams from foxsports.com. Eric, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon, fellas. I'm doing awesome. Thanks again for having me. Enjoying it.
Yeah. Dude, let me jump right in and get your opinion right away. What did you think Saturday night when the Chargers have a 27-0 lead? You were around that franchise enough. I wonder if you were thinking it's over, they avalanched them, or don't turn off your TV quite yet. What were you thinking?
To be honest, just because I covered that team for so long, I was waiting for the car wreck. You know, I was waiting for something to happen, and unfortunately, it did happen. So, I mean, I wasn't really surprised. I should have been surprised, but I mean, I wasn't because I've seen a lot of those games. And you know how it is when that snowball starts rolling the other direction. It's just hard to stop. And they couldn't figure out a way to stop it and just kind of really self-destructed at the end. So not surprised. I did watch Staley's press conference. I thought he handled the questions well. You know, wasn't combative. Took his medicine. You know, was sincere in the way that he answered those questions, in my opinion. And so again, I'm not really surprised that he's staying there based on, again, covering that team for several years and understanding that continuity is important to them. And then, you know, who are they going to get that's different or better in terms of being able to pay the compensations to bring somebody like Sean Payton in and pay Brandon Staley to move on. It's just easy to go ahead and move on from the offense coordinator and see if you can fix it that way.
Did you read Bill Plaschke? Because yesterday we were laughing that when the press conference was happening, Lindsey Theory from ESPN was saying, hey, there's never this much media here. And so we all know that Brandon Staley is just chum in the water and the sharks were circling and Plaschke shows up.
Yeah.
You know, and he's asking Staley if he was out coached and he's looking for a specific answer and he's not going to get it from Staley.
Yeah.
But then what Plaschke writes in the LA Times today is you're not in San Diego anymore. And we were talking about that in the previous segment, that what I think he's saying is if you want to compete up here because there's so much competition, you can't be what you just described the Spanos is to be, Eric, which is cheap, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I understand where Plaschke's coming from, and you know, it's kind of the TJ Steimer's stick where you go out there and see what you can get from you know, the head coach or whoever you're interviewing by you know, being combative and coming at them a little bit. I mean, they are who they are. They're not going to change just because they moved to Los Angeles. I mean,
that's right.
And so that it is what it is. I think they want to win. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I just don't know if they're willing to go to the lengths that you need to go to in order to create sustainable winning. I think that's kind of the crux of their issue. And in order to do that, you kind of have to make yourself uncomfortable as an organization. And I don't know if they're willing to fully buy into what that means or what that looks like.
Can they?
Sure.
Can they financially? Can they actually financially be able to do that? Because this isn't they're not rolling in money like the Cronkies or like the new Bronco owners. So if an organization doesn't have like the general natural financial resources, can they even compete at the level that we're even talking about?
Right. I mean, that's a fair question. You know, they're still paying on the relocation fee that they had to make in order to move there. They're obviously not paying a whole lot in terms of stadium because Kroenke is handling that part. I mean, go back and look at the financials for the TV deal for the NFL, and then you tell me if you think they can afford to pay Sean Payton $20 million a year. To me, I think that answer is yes. It's just, are they willing to do that?
Right. Because Eric, here's the thing. Anthony Lynn is now with the 49ers, And the story that was reported earlier this week, where he takes his shot at the Chargers and he says, look, the Niners will do anything it takes to win. They'll spend anything. They'll provide every resource to win. That's not something that I had when I was in LA. So while people will say the Chargers aren't cheap, look at their roster. Look how much they're spending on Joey Bosa. Look what they're eventually going to pay Justin Herbert. Look what they did with J.C. Jackson this past offseason. They'll spend money on players. I think that seems reasonable, but it's the other stuff that organizations spend money on to help teams win, and that's where the question marks are.
And that's where you can create the competitive advantages. Look at the Broncos, with Walmart now taking over that franchise. Are you going to tell me that Sean Payton isn't interested to go, coach the Broncos when maybe the starting number is $20 million a year based on, their financials and what they can pay outside of the salary cap and what you pay players? I covered Seattle. Paul Allen owned that team. He built a multi-million-dollar facility on the lake there. State-of-the-art facility, indoor practice facility. They had 3 practice fields, grass practice fields on the outside. I mean, a beautiful sparkling facility. When they would bring free agents in, they would bring them in on a seaplane so they could see it coming into the facility, land on the water, walk into it. It was a selling point for players, in terms of having that kind of facility where you're going to go and practice every day. Scott, you're obviously familiar with what was the locker room was like at Murphy Canyon. It really wasn't much better in Costa Mesa. So those are competitive advantages that you can create as an organization, and I don't think the Chargers are taking full advantage of the opportunity. Now they are going to have a new facility coming up in a couple years, so they're getting to that point. It's just taking them a while.
I think you said it earlier the best. I mean, I've said it to these guys. We just live in a cycle with the Chargers and their coaching. This is just what they do every 3 to 4 years. We saw it with Mike McCoy. We saw it with Anthony Lynn. I think this is step one. Every time you have to fire assistants, every time you have to fire coordinators, you're just throwing guys under the bus. It's not your fault. So you give Staley another year. And honestly, though, I think that if Staley goes 10-7, makes the playoffs, losing the first round, he won't be fired again. I genuinely think the Spanos family is content doing so. But my question to you now is, there's 10 NFL teams with offensive coordinator positions open right now. Obviously, you see Justin Herbert, you're like, wow, I would love to work with that guy. But how much of a difference does the ownership, does the facilities, does that extra stuff, how much will that play into who they are able to get or who they can afford to get? If there's 10 teams out there, are 10 other teams willing to spend more on the top offensive coordinator guy than the Chargers?
I think all of that plays into it, Alex. Also, location plays into it. Would you rather live, in Los Angeles, or would you rather live in DC, or would you rather live in Carolina? Are you from that area where you're going to go and coach? They're regular decisions that you would make when you're relocating for a job. Obviously, just the zeros are different for these guys than they are with us, but those are the same kind of things that they're thinking about. In terms of a resume builder, going and working with Justin Herbert and having him play at a really high level is going to help you, in that terms of the next job that you go to. So to me, it's a good gig. I think working for Brandon Staley, would be good as an offensive coordinator if you are aligned with his belief system and how he approaches the game. So all those things have to come into consideration. I don't think it's a bad job. I don't know if it's necessarily the best job as an offensive coordinator, but the fact that you get to work with Justin Herbert, I think is a good selling point.
All right, we're talking to Eric Williams from Fox Sports. Eric is with us every week. He covers the entire NFL, and he'll be up at the San Francisco-Dallas game this upcoming weekend. So, okay, so the Chargers are toast. We all had a great time watching it. And I say we all, well, I mean, Eric, we all know that people in San Diego are still watching and talking. People say to me all the time, why are you still talking about these guys if you hate them so much? I'm like, because everybody's going to talk about them regardless. Some people because they hate them, some people because they love them. But we're all still watching and talking, I think. I think we are.
So I think that the numbers bear it out. I mean, people are still watching, whether it's hate watching or watching because they still root for the team. It's still, in my opinion, the most popular team in San Diego, whether people want to embrace that or not.
So
can I
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Well,
Scott.
I want to start moving into these games. But Browner, you get something else?
Yeah, I do. This Brian Leftwich, because we're talking about coaches being fired, OCs being out there.
Mm-hmm.
Byron Leftwich was fired from the Tampa Bay Bucks as the offensive coordinator, and this guy was a hot commodity before the year started. So now there are reports coming out that Tom Brady didn't like that the offense wasn't detailed enough. This is after the previous year, his run-in with Bruce Arians, for whatever reason, you won a Super Bowl with the guy, but now you can't, agree. You're butting heads with the head coach. He moves upstairs. They hire the guy you wanted, the head coach. You give them offensive coordinator. You want the same guy you won a Super Bowl with. Now the offense isn't detailed enough. At what point are we going to start looking at Tom Brady as the issue as opposed to just continuing to move pieces around or fire folks because it doesn't go the way he wants it to?
Well, I think you know the answer to that, Browner. How many Super Bowl rings does Brady have? And then how many Super Bowl
More than
rings
I can count.
How many does Leftwich have?
One
thanks to Tom Brady.
I mean, that's your answer. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, Tom Brady has won wherever he's been. He's a legacy. He's going to go down as probably the greatest player to ever play the game. And what he's done at his age is remarkable. So, I mean,
Who are you gonna
go with? Are you gonna go with Brady or Leftwich? I mean,
obviously,
how was Leftwich as a player? I mean, come on now.
The only thing I remember about him being carried up the field at Marshall.
Right.
That's literally the only thing I really remember about him as a football player. So, you're right.
All right, I give. You win.
Yeah.
Eric, start us off with this. Jacksonville pulls this crazy win, and now they go to Kansas City. So what do you think about this game? Now I'm rooting for the underdog. Even though I think Kansas City's the best team in the NFL, I'm rooting for the underdog, but they're 9.5-point underdogs. What do you think happens in this game?
No chance. They got
no chance.
Casey's gonna put it on them. I mean, they've been waiting for this postseason based on what happened last year, losing to Cincinnati, and so they're just ready to go. I mean, they didn't play, so they're rested. Andy Reid and his record after bye weeks is well documented. It's one of the best in NFL history. So I just don't see a path for them to get a win on the road there. I mean, Lawrence said he didn't feel like it's going to be any louder in Arrowhead than it was, in Jacksonville the previous week. You're about to find out it's going to be a little louder in Arrowhead. I mean, I just feel it's going to be a totally different environment, and I don't know if Jacksonville's really prepared for it.
Yeah, what about Tony Boselli said Trevor Lawrence is a top 5, top 6 quarterback in the NFL already. Is that because he had his moment in the playoffs where it matters for a quarterback? Or do you just think that's way too high for a guy who, I mean, his trajectory is going up, right? Like college national champion, number 1 overall pick. Now, very similar numbers to Justin Herbert. Very, very, very similar numbers to Justin Herbert this season. What do you think about that statement, or just in general about Trevor Lawrence and where he's going?
Well, I have a lot of respect for Tony Boselli, who's a member of the Hall of Fame and played really good football. But I mean, he played at Jacksonville, so he's a little biased.
He
obviously.
did say that. He did say he was biased. He did say he was biased.
He also he calls the games on radio too.
Yeah,
so he's around it every day.
He's watched every snap this year, and give Trevor credit. He played much better than he did last year. But top 5, I mean, we're talking Mahomes, Burrow, Josh Allen, just off the top, right? And then, I mean, Dak's probably in there somewhere. I think Justin Herbert is better. Top 5 is really strong, really, really strong. I mean, top 10 maybe, but I don't know if he's better than Brock Purdy. Purdy's been balling.
Come on, no. Eric, don't do that.
You put
Brock
Purdy in Jacksonville and say that.
Hey, I'm not saying Brock is a top 5 quarterback, but I'm saying it's a little outrageous to say that for Trevor.
But I think for the first time against Seattle, Brock Purdy in the first half looked like a rookie, like a Mr. what's
Yeah.
it called, Mr. Irrelevant. For the
Mhm.
first time, you put a little pressure on that kid. You make him make plays. He looked human, I would say, for the first time since he took over. And I
And the
think
second
that
half, he
now,
balled out.
and now, Micah Parsons made Tom Brady's life a living hell. And I
Right.
think Micah Parsons in that Dallas, that pass rush, if they have
Mhm.
any chance of winning that game, they got to make Brock Purdy look like
Bruh.
first half Brock Purdy.
Yeah, they got to get after him and put some pressure on him. And then on the flip side, they have to protect well enough so Dak can attack that secondary. Because I do feel like San Francisco is vulnerable in the back end. They'll give up some big plays, but you got to protect well enough with Joey Bosa and those guys getting after you so that you can have time to get deep against those guys.
Better Bosa, Nick Bosa.
Maga Bosa.
Man, 2 years ago I would have said Joey, but I mean, watching the past 2 years, I think you have to give it to Nick. I mean, he's been available, and when he's out there, he wreaks havoc. I think to give Joey credit, Joey said that Nick was going to be better than him before he entered the league, and turns out that Joey was maybe prophetic.
Joey's a better interview.
Joey is a better interview. Nick doesn't give you a whole lot. Out there.
All right, Eric Williams is here from
Did you
FoxSports.com.
really believe in Brock Purdy? I'm sorry.
Browner Browner, you just shook him to his core with that statement.
I know.
Are you really?
When he goes out there, he just makes plays. He reminds me of? He reminds me of when Russell was in Seattle his first 2 years in the league, and he was surrounded by a lot of talent. And then all he had to do was just dump the ball off and make plays. He had a strong running game, had a really good defense. He can create with his feet like Russell can, and he's accurate. Like the ball comes out of his hand and he puts it on the guy. So, and he doesn't seem to get shaken. He's pretty unflappable in intense moments, at least so far. So yeah.
I actually wonder what San Francisco does. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think San Francisco says Brock Purdy's our quarterback going forward. I think conceivably that Jimmy Garoppolo could become the full-time backup / mentor. And I think that Trey Lance is a tradable piece.
Trey Lance is already Instagramming some stuff about like the player personnel guy went to Tennessee, and Trey Lance put on his Instagram like fingers crossed with the news of that guy over there. So I think Trey Lance knows he's done in San Francisco.
Yeah, but Trey Lance going to Tennessee, they drafted that kid this past year.
Yeah, did you watch him throw a football?
Not good. He's not good.
It wasn't a first rounder.
He's a running back.
It wasn't a first rounder.
Now he is a running back. Y'all be told Justin Fields is a running back. No, he is a running back.
We've seen Kyle Shanahan. That you're talking about good coach. Listen, he may have his choke history, but the dude, you could put anybody at quarterback right now in that system. They're going to be just fine.
That's why you got to stick with Trey Lance, man. This talk about Trey Lance going away because of Brock Purdy, it makes my brain explode.
Why?
Like, what are we doing?
Why? Well, hold on.
Stop being a prisoner of the moment.
Okay,
this is the same guy that still was on the Carson Wentz train after Nick Foles won that team the Super Bowl. He called Carson Wentz a top 5 quarterback. It's on brand.
Wait,
it's on brand.
Browner, I'll give you a historical. Perspective on this, and look, it can happen. Eric, you'll love this. You ready, Eric? So we all remember the St. Louis Rams are playing the Chargers in the preseason. Rodney Harrison hurts Trent Green, who hurts his knee. No one's ever heard of Kurt Warner. They thought he was a running back for the Seahawks. All of a sudden, Kurt Warner shows up, becomes the star quarterback of the Rams, leads them to a Super Bowl, and bye-bye Trent Green.
How about Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady?
Browner
would have gone on the radio and be like, put Bledsoe back in there.
Yeah.
The history of guys getting Wally pipped in the NFL is pretty strong.
How about this one, Browner? Tyrod Taylor and Justin Herbert.
Oh,
well, that was going to happen anyway. I mean, that's.
But I'm just saying it was
right.
He got Wally pipped. He got injured.
Yeah.
What you guys are missing is of the scenarios you just named, none of them were two young guys at the start of their career who we haven't seen the other one get a chance to develop. These other situations were already guys developed and they got snaked by younger guys because that's the process of the business. If you can be average while a little bit better than the other guy, they're going to take the cheaper version of the guy. To me, we don't even know what Trey Lance is. And
right. Well, that's
everything
but why
gave up for him.
Now I trade him.
Got
lucky.
I'll say this. I mean, maybe we don't know what Trey Lance is, but maybe Kyle Shanahan does because he's seen him every day in practice.
Right.
And maybe he just said, hey,
for a reason.
Yeah, and hey, listen, and maybe they just got lucky with Brock Purdy. Hey, Brock Purdy, we're going to draft this guy at the end of the draft.
I can't wait.
It's no big deal. He'll never play. He'll run the scout team. Then he gets there and they're like, "Oh my God, he's better than we thought." And then they're like, "Oh my God, we actually need the guy." And then they're continuing to win with him. And so
I think if Brock Purdy goes out and throws 4 picks this weekend, then we can have the conversation.
Yeah.
Until he does that, I think it's Brock Purdy next season.
Hey, Eric, let me ask you a question. Do you have a few more minutes or do you got to hustle?
No, I got a couple more minutes.
Okay, let's do this. Everybody stick around. We're in the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com. Eric Williams from Fox Sports is here. We were getting ready to talk about the games. He already said Jacksonville, no chance. He hasn't really told us which way he's leaning in the San Francisco-Dallas game, which is the game he's going to be at. And there are 2 other divisional round games this weekend that I want to get to. So stay with us. Eric Williams is here, and we'll go right back to the divisional round. We are in the 7 Mile Casino Studios. And you can check him out at 7milecasino.com with Grande and the Brown Man and Eric Williams. This is Kaplan and Crew.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Locally owned and operated, not some bland, uninspired, corporate, cookie-cutter radio station crap. We simply say to those stations, Q. The mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
Murray Lampert now brings architectural and interior design to a whole new level for your remodel, ADU, or whole house build. Our team starts by modeling your project in 3D based on your lifestyle goals and budget, making adjustments along the way simple and accurate.
We're always motivated to strive for excellence. There's kind of not another way to be.
We're truly a team at Murray Lampert Design, Build, Remodel, and we don't take that lightly. Visit murraylampert.com. Our family, your home.
Hola, I'm J.R. Cardenas.
And I'm Vanessa Ramirez.
We're the hosts for Su Vida, where we showcase California restaurants, music,
art, culture, and so much more.
We would love to talk to you about featuring your business on our show.
Yes, and as an added bonus, you get to keep the professional video segment to repurpose and use on your website or social media channels.
Please click on the link below to get more information about how to put your business on Su Vida.
We hope to hear from you soon.
When you're in pain, you need physical therapy that works, but you want to feel safe during these times. At La Mesa Rehab, your health is our business. We screen each patient, provide masks, and constantly sanitize our private individual treatment areas so you can focus on healing. The foundation of our physical therapy is education. Our therapists care and guide you through the healing process. Ask your doctor about La Mesa Rehab.
The best care you can have at La Mesa Rehab.
When doors open for kids, they change lives. For over 75 years, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater San Diego has been opening its doors to provide a safe place for kids whenever they are out of school. A place with caring mentors and opportunities to focus on academic success, healthy lifestyles, and character building. At the club, we do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid that walks through our doors by inspiring, empowering, and changing lives.
If you're going to count yourself as a fan of this radio station, you'll need to continuously ask yourself one basic question. Am I listening enough? Pro tip, wives are not a good source for input on this. This is the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio.
When you're adding companion units or ADUs to bring more value to your home, our experience plus our strong relationship with the city makes adding on easier for our homeowners.
At Murray Lampert, we listen to you first, then design and build. Visit murraylampert.com.
At Shelter to Soldier, being a private nonprofit, we rely on the community. Thankfully, we have sponsors like the Barnes firm that get behind us.
We understand the difficulties that many of our veterans face when they come back into civilian life. And this program just seemed like the perfect fit.
Today we're catching up with Barney. He is now in our matching phase of our program. He is meeting eligible veterans in what we call speed dating.
How's it going?
So we have just recently approved 5 new veterans for our program. So Barney will be meeting every single one of them to see if he is the perfect match for them.
Barney's perfect date would be a nice long walk on the beach, and then he would like to end the night with a nice dinner with his veteran.
We got to find the right person for the right dog.
Hey, great friends, it's Scott Kaplan here, and I want you to come check out our new TV show. It's called Kaplan and Crew Tonight, every Monday through Friday at 7 o'clock right here. Now, look, it's the best of the radio show from earlier that day on the Mightier 1090, and we've been doing it for 20 years, so now we're expanding the way we talk about sports and the way we can be heard and viewed.
Kaplan and Crew Tonight. Be a part of the crew. Weeknights from 7 to 8 p.m. on Your View.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the Mightier 1090 AM. ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.